Ahoy and welcome to the Dailey-LumBird Meyer-Dog podcast. The only podcast where you can have Sir Lumber, Andy Landy, and our special guest, Bird Dog Gaming. This way.
I hope you got that right.
Yeah. How are y'all doing today, guys?
Pulling off the screen.
Y'all doing
good, man. Yeah.
Are y'all ready to talk about? Y'all ready to talk about 2021? Your favorite games of the year and such?
Oh, pumped to talk about that stuff.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Quick rundown. We're going to go over our 2021 game of the years, our favorite non-2021 games, and then anything we're looking forward to in the future. 2022 specifically, but if it's a little further out.
I kind of want to talk about 2026. I
feel
feel like
that's not
year.
a bad idea. We could talk about the PS6 and the Xbox Series.
Why?
X1 360. They'll make some stupid name up. They'll figure something out.
Yeah, they will.
But let's start off. Sir Lumber, what was your favorite game you played this year?
Wow, started off just
going
big.
Right into it.
Well, I think if I had to give it to one game, which it was honestly a really good year for games, I will say. But I think I'll do the basic choice, and I'm already repping them. I'm going to give my game of the year to Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. It was something I was very much looking forward to. Really showcased the capability of the PS5 hardware just in so many ways. With the load times and graphics and just all. It was really your classic Ratchet & Clank experience. I'm a big fan of that series. Have a long history with it. That's my personal game of the year. However, honestly, like if I sat there and went down top games played, which I could, when we talk. It's a close race. Like there was a lot of good things that I played this year, surprising amount. So, but yeah, Ratchet & Clank for me, it was my favorite.
Here's where I would ask what Andy Landy and Bird Dog thought about that, but I know neither of y'all have been able to secure a PS5 as of yet, so I'll have to coattail off this. I also really liked Ratchet & Clank. Like you said, the load times, how the one level specifically where like the whole world shifts instantaneously. That was like the first jaw-dropping PS5 moment for me.
Incredible. It basically had two worlds loaded simultaneously that it would just be able to flip between. It was nuts. Yeah.
I talked about it in my Game of the Year video. While it's one of the best looking games I've ever seen, even though it's like a cartoony game. It looks like a Pixar movie you're controlling. I thought about that with the PS4 Ratchet game, but
same.
But this one was
somehow they made it better.
Yeah, it was really impressive. The weapons were fun. Wasn't my favorite weapons. I don't even know if it was my favorite Ratchet & Clank game, but it was definitely a solid Ratchet & Clank game.
Right, and I could say that as well, that other Ratchet & Clank games had better weapon selections, but I think maybe it was just because it was what I was really most looking forward to, just from a PS5, from a PlayStation game. Ratchet & Clank, like I said, the history I have with the series, it's one of my favorite games. So I think with that, and the fact that it did deliver on so many levels, with just your classic Ratchet & Clank experience, plus all the PS5 features that it added, I think that's what did it for me.
Yeah, there was some cool DualSense stuff in there too, with the half pulls, in the trigger and the full pulls.
That was really cool. Yeah,
that was really neat. Y'all should, Landy and Bird Dog, have y'all actually used the DualSense? Got to feel the adaptive triggers?
No, we were gonna do it at your house, but I didn't get a chance. Sorry.
I had the most amazing experience with it at Brennan's house because that controller is freaking amazing. I played Astro's Playland or whatever the heck it's called. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't imagine playing an FPS. I mean, it sounds like it would be freaking awesome. It's super cool.
It's cool, but if you play online, you gotta turn that off.
I was gonna say it loses its charm when you your reaction time is clearly worse than others because of the adaptive.
When you're pulling a bolt action and you're like, ka-dink, and then everyone's just all running around you like crazy. You can't have that.
But I guess since you mentioned that, and I guess the pros and cons of that, I'll jump ahead a little bit because a game that I think will showcase how cool that is, other than Ratchet & Clank, is possibly the new Horizon game. Because the bow and arrow,
That's how they introduced the idea, right? With the adaptive triggers.
That's how they compare it. That's what they say. It's like you're pulling back a bowstring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be a cool thing to experience.
For sure.
I need that included on future Xbox and Nintendo products. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And what sucks is because PlayStation is currently the only one that does that, third parties can't really take. I mean, the bigger companies like Activision with Call of Duty and stuff, they can take the time to do stuff like that. But other smaller third parties can't put resources into doing an adaptive trigger thing if only PlayStation is going to get it.
Right. Right. That's true.
That's much like the Wii U gamepad. That's a good point.
Exactly, and same thing with Nintendo. They don't have the what do you call them? The analog triggers anymore.
Right.
So it's just like on and off. So you can't do like a analog trigger stuff.
That's true.
Yeah, they need to all get on the same page with the controller specs. But
they just need one super system. Plays everything.
Yeah.
Has the perfect controller. Just everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah, one day. Let's toss it off to Andy Landy. What was your favorite 2021 game you played this year?
All right, well, this one may not come as a surprise because it was one of the only podcast episodes that I was called in to be an expert on. But Monster Hunter Rise, man.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Coming in. Yeah, I think it's the best Monster Hunter game I've played so far. They kept the stuff that has been annoying in the past to like a minimum. So like sometimes a lot of the plot stuff got really annoying in the older games, but this one they really smoothed it out and you didn't have to sit through too much of it. They jumped over like a lot of hurdles with like the Switch Online stuff.
That game actually did perform well online, surprisingly, with how bad everything else on Nintendo is.
Right. Yeah, it was shocking how easy it was for me to just get you guys in, start hunting monsters, and go through. I mean, occasionally we would have somebody just like lag out, but it wasn't necessarily like obvious that it was Nintendo. It could have been somebody's Wi-Fi and
I was
things
gonna
like
say
that.
it was no worse than other online experiences on other platforms.
And they did
They
did a good job there too, because when you lag out, don't you keep playing your own instance?
Yeah, you do.
So
it
doesn't just kick you all the way out. You get to keep playing, which is actually kind of nice. Because some of those levels can last like upwards of 30 minutes sometimes.
But then you're
like,
possibly left alone with like a giant monster beast, and
it adds to the charm.
So yeah, I mean that's my game of the year from 2021. That was March, so that was a pretty early one, but nothing else really came out that passed it up. So.
Chris, did you play Monster Hunter Rise at all?
No, I've never played any Monster Hunter games. I caught a stream or two of you guys playing together, and it looked like something I would enjoy. Has anyone played Monster Hunter World? I think it's called World.
Yes.
There's a man on here who's an expert on that too.
Yeah, so Sir Lumber and I just played Rise, but Landy's the expert over here. So
that's the only Monster Hunter game I've played so far. Well, traditional Monster Hunter game. Yeah. So far.
World looks fun. I almost played World a couple times. It's on Game Pass.
I enjoyed Rise a lot. But
World had the problem of a lot of moments where the plot just like stops you in your tracks and you like can't keep doing what you want to do, and you've got to do like the weird game mode for Rise was like a sort of like you do this mock like tower defense mode, and then the weird game mode for World was way more annoying. So that would be the one thing to kind of stack your patience on, but for the most part. World was just as good.
I didn't love that weird game mode in Rise, but it did like make my lizard brain happy because like you did a lot of damage. So like they like tricked you like I don't think you were actually doing more damage. I mean, maybe you were doing more damage like but scale wise.
No.
But they just made the number bigger. And I was like, yes.
Like, it was like an arcade game at that point, like 5 million.
Yeah, it was just dumb.
Whoa.
That was a lot of fun.
World was a big deal when it came out. That's why I brought that one up. It seemed like no Monster Hunter had been like that open world or something before that. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I've never played Monster Hunter World, but Landy, you can clarify this. Wasn't there a shift in like how the environments were structured, like them being more open? I mean, it's in the name, I guess, right?
So the main difference that I can think of is old games used to skybox the areas. So like on the map, it would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you went from 1 to 2, it would skybox it, and you would get into a loading screen.
Oh, really?
And then go to the next place. Yeah.
Interesting.
And so if you were like, oh, he just flew to Area 4, you'd have to go through like 3 different loading screens sometimes.
So it's all within the same like biome, if you will.
So instead in Rise, they masked that by letting us run there slowly over the course of 30 seconds.
Yeah, but you do have the Palamute, to run around with, and then the verticality with the
of course.
whatever the bug things are called.
Wire bugs.
Wire bugs, yeah. Yeah, that game,
stuff.
I liked it a lot. I liked it much more co-op than I did by myself. I thought by myself it was a little grindy sometimes.
Sure.
Like not in the way I like grinding, I guess, because like if you're playing by yourself,
the way your lizard brain likes grinding.
Exactly, because you're playing by yourself. Sometimes I feel like I'm just literally like hitting the thing over and over and over again.
Yep.
But if you're with a group, that is kind of fun because I'm like knocking y'all over.
Right.
I don't understand the mechanics. I'm just.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on Monster Hunter Rise, Landy?
No, we pretty much said the long and short of it. Can't wait to see what else they come out with. I might buy that DLC. I might not. I did not get Iceborne in the past, so we'll have to see. But
yeah, I'm guessing that it's gonna be more of like an expansion. I'm thinking like Iceborne was.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Basically like Monster Hunter Rise 1.5 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right, Bird Dog, let's hear it. Game of the year.
2021. I didn't think it was an incredible year for gaming, but I did get my Xbox in November. Started off with good old Forza Horizon 5, and then I got the multiplayer released for Halo Infinite, and I got a taste for just how awesome that game was going to be. And then December 8th, I think, is when campaign came out, and probably changed my life. No, it's a little bit, but it's I freaking love that game. That's my 2021 game of the year. The campaign was absolutely incredible. I know Zach and Brendan have played it.
Yep.
The grapple was a really awesome addition.
It's like the whole game. The grapple's like the whole game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You don't use the other things, the other RVs. They're not great.
Yeah.
No, and Zach, you said it well in your video. Like, if they had made that a dedicated button, that would have been awesome. Because I could have played around with the other tools.
It's like, hey, if you want to use the other tool, D-pad left, right, down.
Yeah.
It's like,
no,
not a chance.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could have had like a weapon wheel or something for that. Like, why wasn't that there?
Yeah, the weapon wheel would have worked so good.
Yeah.
That's a good
I
point.
didn't
That's
even
a
think
good
about
point.
that until right
Ratchet
now.
and Clank, man, that's their thing.
Yeah.
I finished that campaign a few days ago. I'm going to go back and complete all the overworld stuff. Definitely not going to get all the skulls because I'm not inhumane.
Heck no.
But
I found
one.
this many skulls.
I found
Yeah.
one. In a
Yeah,
more
I told
obvious spot,
Brennan-
you would think.
I told Brendan that one of them appeared on my map, and I was still not able to find it. That's how hidden they are.
That is so weird, yeah.
And those are just like
Oh my
gameplay
God.
modifiers or what?
Yeah, I didn't even check to see what the one I found, like what it does. But
Was it like big head mode? All the grunts.
it's probably
had,
something
a
like
big-
that. It must be game altering in some way because it tells you it will turn off achievement if you turn those on. So yeah,
Oh well.
I didn't even play with that.
I have very little experience with skulls in any of the Halo games.
Yeah,
But typically they do change something in the game.
Yeah,
Now, is that the skull
I
from
think-
Oddball? Is that what we're looking at?
I think it does look like that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Minus the glowingness of it.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
The
Okay, so
best.
campaign-
Oh, sorry. The best
for it.
skull modifier in any Halo game ever was the I think it's called like frag grenade party or something like that, where the grunts would be attracted to frag grenades and like it would go off like confetti and stuff whenever they got exploded by
That's
it.
hilarious. I would
Nice.
love to see that.
The grunts
So
were
funny.
funny, but they gave so they had like this like creepy like realistic screams like when you'd kill them sometimes, and then you feel kind of bad. It was
Because they're real, Zach.
they are real. Yeah. Several grunts were harmed in the making of this video.
Many.
Tens of grunts. Anyway, Bird Dog,
the-
continue on now.
The open world was an awesome choice. I think that they should have probably done that a few games ago. But that was the right choice for this series. I don't think they'll ever go back to non-open world. But yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about the campaign. Although in your video, you did make a good point. Like when I watched your video, I was a little insulted, and then I finished the game, and I was like, okay, he's kind of right about this. But
The
it's
end
the
game-
fact that
Yeah.
it's the fact that you are just getting these stupid fuel cells every time you go into an actual mission, over and over and over.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I watched your video, I was only halfway through the game. I was like, man, shut up, bro. And then,
It's gonna be better in the late game. Don't worry.
then the second half of the game, I was stood corrected.
Yeah, like by like that wasn't a problem for me. Like the first maybe half or 2/3 of the game, then the last like stretch, it's just like back to back to back to back like corridor thing.
Yeah.
And it was just like I just wanted to be in the open world. I didn't even mind the fuel cell things, like because I was still like in an open environment where I could use the grapple hook and stuff. When you got in those like just alleyways, corridors at the end, it was kind of repetitive. I don't know, and they like made like a lore reason why it was like that, which I get it. It's fine.
Right.
It didn't impact my overall thoughts of the game. I thought it was really fun. The open world wasn't like obnoxiously large or like packed with stuff to do. It was just, like there was a good amount of stuff, but nothing too crazy.
And it was all like it was addicting. The game was addicting.
Yep.
You wanted to go and do every single thing. And the fact that you could just drop your favorite vehicle, go pick up your favorite gun and go. That was
the base system, or what are the FOBs, where they're called.
Yeah, the forward operating bases.
That was the best because like it's like you get this base and you pick your vehicle, you pick 2 weapons, and you like hook up with like the freaking Marines and you go to town.
Yeah.
Like that was so fun.
Yeah.
And then I liked unlocking the special weapons from the special encounters and stuff.
Some of those are really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't ever feel like they were anything special other than their colors.
I
Were they
like
just more powerful?
I like the rocket launcher that it tracked. That was a pretty cool one. And some of them were just like straight up, just more powerful. Like, and I don't think you got these from those high value. The better battle rifle, like that you would unlock that with getting enough of that currency. Like that kind of progression was pretty cool. Not just like these are your 8 weapons and
the better pistol was broken. The better pistol was like I brought that thing in as my primary weapon, and it was like one-shot headshot on basically any like regular enemy. We haven't talked much about the multiplayer. Christian, do you have any like positive thoughts on the multiplayer? I know you mentioned it, but like you want to expand on it at all?
Halo 5 was the first time I got into any Halo online multiplayer. I've been playing locally with friends for over a decade probably, but the online on Infinite is pretty sweet. I'm really liking the Battle Pass. They're doing great with it. I think that we've all complained about how you're not getting XP for how many kills you get per mission, which is kind of strange.
Probably the biggest complaint, and it doesn't ruin it for me. It would just be a little bit more of a satisfying, grind.
Lizard brain, right?
Exactly. I kill this many.
Yes,
points. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay. I mean, there's a good amount of challenge to get you experience that like almost balance that, and it lets you swap them out if it doesn't really cool, and you're still getting you can still pretty consistently. But that'd be one change that they could do.
Yeah.
Make a big difference.
The weapons are fantastic. The game modes are solid.
Fiesta.
I wish I could change and just choose one game mode if I want to play Capture the Flag, then let me do it.
Capture the Flag is so good.
Yeah.
And I feel like I had something else to say. Oh yeah, they need to bring back a couple of game modes. I keep talking about Griffball is one of my favorites, but there's also Halo 5 was cool because you had this game mode called Warzone where you could team up with humans to defeat a bunch of computers, and it was a great time. I wish they would bring that back.
And there was there's something called the Forge, right? This is my first Halo.
Yeah, so Forge is basically like custom maps and modes that people can make. Like my favorite example one from Halo 3 we always played back in the day. It was called Duck Hunt, and 2 guys would be like up in this canopy with a sniper, and the other people would have to go through like a parkour level. While the other people are trying to like snipe them before they get to the end. So there's stuff like that.
That's really
like
cool.
Like custom.
The one from Halo Reach that was so fun was just like a long tunnel that goes upward, and they're just dropping stuff at you like warthogs and things that you have to like race to the top.
Yeah.
And everybody has like gravity hammers to like punch them out of the way if it gets too close and everything. And then there's teleporters at the bottom to like make them come back. So
that's so cool.
It's so fun. Yeah.
Yeah. If I can give one, I guess like promise or like hopeful thing about Halo Infinite is like. The game is so good, and it's basically just like a template right now for what they're going to do in the future. Like they're going to keep adding modes, they're going to keep adding different like customization options, maps. I'm pretty sure they said they're going to do like single player content, which I think would be cool. So if this game does go on for like 5, let's just say 5 years as a random number, I think they could add some really cool stuff. You know, Forge. I think campaign co-op is going to be nuts.
Yeah.
When they add that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to think about that. That's going to be insane. So yeah, I think it's a really promising, I guess, game as it sits right now.
For sure.
Well, cool. All the games y'all mentioned were on my little like list of things to like shout if no one said out loud. I have a couple more, but my game of the year went back and forth. Halo is my number 2. I ended up with Metroid Dread at number 1. I don't know. I think I kind of fell into some of the hype with Metroid. Like I when they released the trailer, I started playing through some older Metroid games and started really getting into it. And when the Dread came out, I beat it in like a day and a half. I like just bum rushed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. The main thing I like about it is a lot of games nowadays, like they like, okay, we need to be like X amount of hours long so people will, you know, get their worth out of it, whatever, blah, blah. Like Dread was like constantly jam-packed. Like there was never like a slow moment. There's like some slower moments, but like you were constantly feeling like you were progressing. You were constantly having stuff to do. The game wasn't super long. So like if you wanted to replay that game, like it doesn't feel daunting to go back into it.
Just all the 8 to 10 hours.
Exactly. Like I think my first run where I won 100% everything was like a little over 10 hours. But I think people are speed running it now like in an hour or some crazy crap.
Yeah, of course.
It was a lot of fun. The bosses were like kind of like a Souls game. Like when you go into it, you almost feel overwhelmed. You don't really know what to do, and you kind of pick apart their moves. And then by the time you beat that boss, you could probably beat it 3 times in a row. Like once you understand what to do with that boss, you get it. I thought the Emmy sections were a lot of fun. They really changed the pace for like you went from being an overpowered, you know, bounty hunter to like you're being hunted by the Emmy.
You're the hunted. Yeah.
It was terrifying.
It was
I
really
don't know
good.
how they made it so terrifying, but it was terrifying.
They had like that like filter on the screen, that grainy thing, which is like I don't even know
Yeah.
why they chose that grainy filter, but it worked.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess it just goes to show, like, because I seriously hated those parts so much, but I guess that means they like, I wasn't supposed to enjoy it.
Well, it's rare in a game now where I play a lot of games when I get caught by the Emmy and I legitimately am like, oh my god, I've got to run, and I'm like booking it. I'm jumping, I'm panicking. I'm like,
it was like it flips a switch down to survival horror.
Yeah, exactly. I guess kind of like some Resident Evil moments. Like it felt like that, like just that little like red thing going off, and then the first time I didn't realize, I didn't like listen to the tip where like, oh, the doors are gonna lock if you're being
right.
So I ran to the door and I like turned around, and it's like there, and that was it was a lot
Speaking
of
of
fun.
lizard brain, though, what was more satisfying than hitting the parry on that?
Oh, dude, I was gonna say,
I got you.
The parry was
I lost
so
my
good.
patience with one of the Emmys, and like I was trying to be so stealthy, and I just couldn't do it. And I like just freaking beat my head against the wall for like however long it took, and I got good at the freaking impossible parry just to get through it.
I love the little wimpy like bump. You do it, you like messed it up.
Just bonk him on the nose. Like, oh, sorry.
It was so good. And then like any Metroid game, it really snowballs where like it's a total power trip. By the end of the game, you're a complete monster.
Yeah.
You're destroying everything. I liked it a lot. I hope the game performs well enough where they make another one. Not in 15 years or whatever it's been.
Right.
Because it was like, what was it, 2002 or 2004, some crap.
You're not including the 2017.
Yeah, the
remaster,
remakes and stuff. But like, as far as like a new game, they were a little slow to do that. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm looking forward to whatever's next. Do y'all have any other like really high up games that we didn't mention? I have a couple I'll list off if y'all don't get to it.
Yeah, so I can mention one that Bird mentioned briefly. So Forza Horizon 5. I don't know if that falls into like a biggest surprise necessarily, because I had played Forza Horizon 4, so it's not like they changed it all that much. But I guess I am kind of surprised how much I am still in. It is like one of the most, if not the most satisfying, car racing game I've ever played. I mean,
one of
it's
the
like,
best intros I've had in a while to a game.
Oh, that's how Forza Horizon 4 was too. So yeah, they're big cinematic, like, and they do that throughout the story too. Or not I mean, it's got a story, but they do that throughout the game. Like there's different moments, different little events you can do. But yeah, there's so many cars, all the different environments, the different types of racing. Like it's not 20 different types of races, but it's like 5 or 6 and a bunch of them. But like it really keeps you entertained, and I'm really playing who knows how long. So that one right there, I just want to shout out because all the other ones on my list I think were mentioned in the video anyway. But Forza Horizon 5, like, yeah, up there for sure.
Bird Dog, any thoughts?
Love that freaking game. Love me some Forza. Yeah, I'm pretty new to the series as well. Me and Brendan, I think, both played a little bit of 4, and then now we have dove in. What the heck is
I think it's
past
daft.
tense is that?
Dabbed?
Dave.
Daved?
Yes.
Wow.
Delved. Ooh.
Delved?
Anyways, both of us head first into Forza Horizon 5. Excellent game. Probably a top 5 for me this year.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I agree. I could be playing that game for years, and I mean, it's a direct continuation of 4. It's just a new map and more of the same, but they didn't need to change anything. It's awesome.
Yep.
But a game nobody's going to bring up is Scarlet Nexus, so let me do right by Bandai Namco here and bring it up.
Oh, we'll do right by Bandai Namco in a little bit, don't you worry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we do have one that's big. Me and Zach do, yeah.
But continue.
I love this game mostly for its story. It was a solid hack and slash. I would recommend people that like hack and slash RPGs or whatever, just give it a shot if you have Xbox Game Pass, or pick it up for 20 or 30 bucks on PlayStation. Really, really fun game. The story was just great, and I said I was gonna buy the DLC. I don't know if I'm gonna buy the DLC.
Is it not gonna be on Game Pass? It'll have to be purchased separately.
No, you gotta buy that crap
That's
separately.
too bad. Yeah, no, probably not.
Which, I should use that right there to convince myself to buy it, because I didn't buy the game, right?
Right, because then maybe you owe the developer something.
Yeah, and then it gets removed from Game Pass, then you have this DLC.
And then you're just the DLC. That's true. That's not good.
But what was I about to say? The story was so good to me that they actually made an anime based on the game, and I started to watch it a little bit.
Scarlet Nexus, the anime, the game.
The anime, I think, released a couple months before the game.
Oh, okay. I think I remember that now. Yeah.
But yeah, I only watched like the first episode. I might finish that up, but really solid.
Is it like a 1-to-1 kind of thing?
It seemed like it was pretty similar. Like it might not even be worth it if you've already played the game.
Yeah.
See, it's good to hear that the story is what kept you drawn in, because I thought it looked cool enough just based on like the combat and the visuals and stuff. But now that the story is also like you're applauding that, that's good. I think I need to try it out at some point.
Yeah, help me out here,
I'd love to
Christian. I haven't seen a whole lot about Scarlet Nexus as far as the gameplay. When you say it's a hack and slash, is it anything like something like Astral Chain, or is it more of like an action game, more of like a Bayonetta kind of thing? Like,
aren't those very similar?
Well, like maybe maybe that's not. Maybe maybe like a Devil May Cry action game, like something like Quick. Is it like Quick, or is it a little more like methodical action game? I guess is what I'm getting at.
Like button mashy versus more deliberate.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way of looking at it.
I'm gonna go with Astral Chain. It reminded me a lot of it, not just in story but in gameplay as well. There's a lot of strategy involved, methodically, as you're saying. I would say definitely more like Astral Chain.
Cool. All right, you hinted at it here, Sir Lumber. You want to talk about the other Bandai Namco action RPG?
I think it deserves it.
Played?
Yeah, I think it deserves it. Do you want to bring it up? Or you want to?
You can go for it. Go for it. You brought it up.
Okay. Well, Tales of Arise. That's both of us played that this year. And it was both of our first experiences with the Tales, which I think there's probably 4 or 5, maybe more games. I have no idea in that series.
He shows up in Sonic sometimes, but I think it's the main
Tales.
series.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. God. Well, anyways, first experience with that series, and I don't have any knowledge about it. I don't know if the other style, like gameplay and all that stuff. But this one, I mean, what's the best way to describe it? It's a kind of hack and slashy, probably similar combat to Scarlet. It's not so much button mashy, but it's real combo focused, combat. You have a team of ends up being, well, I guess won't spoil anything, but it's like 4 people at a time that you coordinate with, and they all have these different attacking styles. But big open world, big, really like cinematic story, like it's like a freaking blockbuster movie.
Story is very good. Story is very good.
Really reels you in. This is like I was gonna dive into this one. It's your classic JRPG, like 80-hour experience. So get ready for that.
It's a long one, especially if you read all of the like side dialogue. Because there's like the story stuff, and then there's like constant like where there's like conversations between characters or side quests, and the side quests vary from like the normal like I lost my cat. Can you help me to like more in-depth side quests? I liked it a lot. You mentioned that the combat, just to like kind of visualize it. So imagine like you're on an overworld map and you see a monster and you run into it. It instantly throws you into like a giant ring, and then you basically have like a action game there in that ring. It was a lot of fun.
Basically Paper Mario.
It's just a 1-for-1. It's basically a 1-to-1.
It's basically Paper Mario. Yeah. Now that you mention it, I guess it is.
Yeah. Incredible music, by the way.
The music is very good.
Like, we need to talk about music more in games, because that music is awesome. Just the freaking load screen on the PS5. Oh, it's so good. It's literally the music that, except for like boss battles, it plays in like every combat encounter.
Little Godfall-esque,
Kind of, but the game is much better.
Yeah.
So
the game also has much more music than Godfall.
Yeah.
But that one theme, they use it a lot. It's very good. It also has like this like beautiful anime opening cutscene. Which is like
it has a couple of those.
Like several minutes. Like it has a couple of them. Like several minutes of like this cool opening cutscene.
Yeah. Like, I would love to watch an anime of that.
Yeah.
Like, it literally it completely changes the art style, and it is like, that anime look,
And all the, all like the side conversations, they have like this like comic booky tile block.
Little skits, I think is what they call them.
Skits, yeah. So they basically look like a comic book. It'll like a block will come on frame, they'll talk, and the other one will come on frame. I liked it a lot. The story is really good. It was a meaty game.
Very much
I didn't get like into the weeds on like all the like building of my character. Like I did some stuff. I did some stuff, but there's so much there. I liked it a lot. There's a good post game too. I know you didn't dive into it a whole lot, but post game's fun. And I think I'm going to try whatever the next game they make is.
Sure. I think it's got me. I don't know if anyone else here knows about the Tales series. Like, I have no idea if we should expect that it'll be a similar style. But I'll at least keep it on my radar.
As far as style, I don't know, but I think I'm gonna get butchered here if I don't know for sure, but I think it's like the Final Fantasy games where like they're not necessarily sequelized or linked. They might be.
I think you're right about that.
But as far as I'm assuming they're all action games. I don't know. But I think it goes back quite a ways. So if it's like an action game on the SNES, I don't know how exactly that works. But
I have Tales of Symphonia on the GameCube.
Oh,
never played it.
I always see Tales of Vesperia on Switch go on sale. I think I've had that on my wish list for a while. I can't remember exactly what it is, but
I imagine this game eventually going to Switch, like a scaled down version. And when you start a fight, instead of like immediately jumping in, it like loads for a second.
10-second load screen.
And then it goes into it.
Oh, that would be rough.
I've got a couple more games here. Landy, do you have any other games this year that you liked that were higher up that you want to bring some attention to?
No. How's the
new Apex season?
It's okay. I don't really like the map. So the problem with me and Apex is the people that I play Apex with take Apex way too seriously. And so when we get in ranked, like, it's not a fun experience. But pub matches in Apex when you're level 500 are so sweaty, it's ridiculous. Like, you'll just get Apex predators all in the match and stuff, and it's just like, why are we sweating this much? But they added arenas this year, which
that's like
is fun to me.
It's a deathmatch.
It's more like search.
Okay.
Where like you get eliminated and stuff. It's not just like you keep throwing yourself at the enemies. It's actually really way more like Valorant, where like you're picking your items before, or like CS:GO, where you're picking your weapons before and like doing like a calculus, right? Of okay, if I spend this much on a gun, am I going to be able to earn enough this round to buy it next round, or am I going to have to go to something cheaper?
Some resource
You said
management.
calculus? I took calculus in college. I could probably.
Yeah.
Learned about when to buy guns and when to
That's
skip
fun.
around, stuff like that.
Right. That was a class. Yeah.
So I had fun with that game mode, and my friends really didn't, so I didn't get to play it as much as I wanted to because randoms aren't fun in that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they won for like I guess best like following service or whatever, like their current fans, or like servicing like their ongoing fans basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can see the reason for that. I mean, they're just like pretty consistently putting out content. And if you keep playing the game, you can keep just re-rolling the battle pass again. So you really don't have to keep putting money into it to keep enjoying all the new stuff. So
Fortnite model.
Do what? Fortnite
That
model.
Fortnite model.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It is really, yeah, it is. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably keep playing every new season that comes out to experience the new stuff. They took out the main thing why I haven't played as much this season. They took out my favorite gun and put it in the box. So
very sad.
yeah, the G7.
All right.
So,
I've got a few more here. I'm going to list them off, say a couple things. If any of y'all have any comments on them, feel free to pitch in. My first four, my top five, four of them have been mentioned: Metroid Dread, Halo, Tales of Rise, Ratchet and Clank. My fifth one was Resident Evil 8. I liked that game a lot. It was it wasn't too spooky. It had some spooky moments, but really it was kind of like it almost felt like a first person Metroidvania. Like you going back and forth, getting upgrades, going new places, find stuff.
I think that's how a lot of the games are, but I think the setting in this game of it being kind of that, vampires and werewolves, like that, kind of classic, spooky, scary stuff.
Yep.
Like that helped it. And I am not a survival guy. I played, but I cranked that thing down to easy mode and just blasted through it, and it was a great time.
Yeah, I tried playing on the higher difficulties, and it's just like I don't want to shoot this one thing 10 times. Like,
I don't want to be afraid. I don't need to be afraid.
my biggest complaint about that game, the coolest unlock, is you can literally get a lightsaber.
Yeah.
But it's like, you got to play the game 15 times. Like, no, I don't want to do that. Like,
what am I going to do with the lightsaber on the 16th run?
Give me the lightsaber. I think it would actually, you have to buy it with in-game currency. It'd probably take you 4 or 5 runs, but whatever. I want the lightsaber,
No thanks.
so I'm not going to play it. Loop Hero was an indie retro-looking it's like a roguelite, but it's like a reverse roguelite. Like you have your character going in a circle, and you create the obstacles for the character rather than defeating the obstacles as your character. It's all auto battling. So it's like a balance between making it too hard, not hard enough. Because if you make it too easy, you won't get any resources. If you make it too hard, you'll die. A lot of fun, good music. Returnal, another PlayStation 5 exclusive. They recently updated it to where you can save between runs. When I played it, you couldn't save between runs. So one time I had a 3-hour run, and I wanted to stop, but I couldn't. Yeah. Because it just puts you back at the beginning if you do that. I think it's kind of dumb.
3-hour run, that's crazy, man.
Game's a lot of fun. It's like a bullet hell, also kind of like little horror, third-person shooter. A lot of fun. I put Bowser's Fury on here. I thought Bowser's Fury was a lot of fun, like a quick, what would you call it, 3-hour, 4 hour?
Or something like that, yeah.
Open world Mario game. A lot of fun. Let you drop power-ups. You could stack power-ups and drop them.
That was probably the coolest thing that they added, because it's very convenient. You gotta love when games out just stuff for convenience. That's the, and then they can be creative in other ways. So. Exactly.
You come up to a puzzle, a little platforming challenge, and instead of I gotta run over there to get the cat suit, I'm just gonna drop it in front of me.
Right. It's literally they're just saving us time.
Exactly.
You're gonna go do it anyways. It's just gonna irritate me to go have to get that thing.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. Death's Door was an isometric 2D Zelda-like, I guess, indie action game. Pretty fun. And then this one, I'm going to loop this into our next section for biggest surprises. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
I fully expected this game to be like kind of garbage, and it turned out rather well. I liked it a lot. Had a great story. So, Lumber, I know you played Guardians. Do you have any thoughts on that topic?
Yeah, so I just finished this game a couple days ago. Definitely surprised by, just, I don't know, I guess how good the story was, and the combat, the stuff like that was good, if not just kind of repetitive throughout the whole thing, but that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It stayed the same amount of good the whole time. You control Star-Lord primarily, and then you direct the other Guardians as needed. So with just Star-Lord's combat, I guess it was probably in their favor after the whole incident of Marvel's Avengers game to really just focus on fleshing out one character's combat. But like I said, the story was very good. It was like literally, I think you may have said this in your video. It was like playing through like a Guardians of the Galaxy TV show. Like for me, on movies, the first one especially, Guardians of the Galaxy was everyone loved that movie, and it was honestly the characters were their interactions and all that stuff was very that kind of quality. So it was good.
Yeah, Bird Dog, I know you're a Marvel guy. To some extent, you should check that out if it ever goes on a big sale.
It kind of is already a big sale. It's like you can get it for 25 to 30.
Still. Yeah, I guess that's true.
I have zero excuses for not picking it up yet.
I feel like it'll go to Game Pass eventually. Just hold out.
It may. It may.
Avengers is on Game Pass. So I don't see why.
Oh, that's right. It is.
I don't see why.
That's really all it takes for me, right?
Yeah. I feel like Guardians is paying for the sins of Avengers. Like everyone was so excited for Avengers, and then it like let people down. So then when Guardians showed up, everyone like wrote it off, and like almost like it like started here, and by like word of mouth, people are starting to pick it up rather than like being really hype at the beginning and like cooling off. It's actually kind of picking up. It's a lot of fun. You mentioned that the combat's pretty whatever. It's not the main part of the game.
Right.
Character interactions are really good. The voice acting is very good. Like every line is voice acted, and the character models actually like move their mouth, properly. It's a pretty funny game. I chuckled a few times, which in a video game, like if I laugh literally at all, I would call it a funny video game.
Right. I'm not just sitting there like this.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Exactly.
You've done something good.
That'd be a funny. I want to watch back like an hour of me playing a video game. Just
it depends on the game, but yeah.
I thought the weapon in Halo Infinite was pretty good. She was pretty.
The weapon was pretty good.
Oh yeah, she was. I liked her. Yeah.
She was good. I like the game a lot. I hope they make a sequel. I don't know if it's in the cards or not, but I would play another one of those.
Yeah, well, obviously, given that it's a Marvel game, they have just all of the comics to go off of with a sequel.
They have all the content they would ever need to make a sequel.
Which is interesting to see how that kind of interacts with. I won't get any specifics, but just how it interacts or overlaps with what they're doing in the MCU. You know, and the stories they're telling there. So it's kind of cool.
Yep. Good stuff. Good time to be a Marvel fan, I would say.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing on my 2021 surprises. Anyone else have anything else that stuck out to them, good or bad, that went differently than they were expected, as far as a game being better? Oh, okay. What's up?
Call of Duty Vanguard was a disappointment. I put a good 5 hours into the multiplayer with one of my best friends, and I'm this guy that for the last 10 years has always said, "Oh, it's just another Call of Duty." Like I hate when people are like, "Oh no, this game sucks. This game is good." And I'm like, really? Because all they did was change the color of the guns and change the era. It's the same game. But no, I'm a hypocrite now. Vanguard, not a great game. I buy Call of Duty first for the multiplayer and second for the campaign and zombies. Actually, the campaign's probably 10th. I mean, I could care less, but
the campaigns are all the same at this point.
Oh yeah, just go kill evil.
You're a CIA operative and you're gonna kill the Russian man. Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess I will.
Yeah. Okay. All right. If you say so.
But Vanguard was so unenjoyable for me that it's actually going to be sold. I'm not even going to keep it for the collection.
When you say unenjoyable, did it just because Call of Duty is pretty? It's just aim and shoot. It's pretty they've got that formula down. Does it just not feel good to control? Like, what about it was bad? Because I've heard a lot of people saying this about Vanguard, and I can't tell if it's just people being down on Activision or if the game is legitimately just not a good Call of Duty game.
It feels fine. You know, they definitely have that part down. But what they changed, especially from, well, I've played a ton of Call of Duties, but especially from Cold War, is it's so fast paced. I mean, it's almost like they're changing the formula to feed off of people who have short attention spans, which is probably most people.
Yes.
These days, like, I don't know, but what I'm trying to say is, like, the game, you don't live very long, no matter how hard you try. You couldn't camp if you wanted to.
Interesting.
And it's just weird. You know, they have 6v6, or you can do 4v4, or you can do like 8v8 on a map that's half the size of Nuketown. It doesn't make sense to me. I tried all of them. I kid you not, it's half the size of Nuketown.
That's crazy. Oh my god.
How many maps
That's
are
in
there?
house. That's in house.
Is there a good amount of maps, or is it just like a couple maps?
I saw that there was a good amount of maps. It was way too fast paced for me, and I'm not saying that I'm not liking the game because I suck, because I was still getting positive KDs, but it's just not for me.
See, I play the objectives around here. I don't really look at my KD.
Yeah, but 30 and 20 is like an exhausting way to play. You know, if you're getting like you know what I mean. Like, it could still be positive, but if you're just like dying or like killing two people really quickly or dying like the whole time, that's really tiring.
That's me in Halo on like the domination game mode. It's like you went 15 and 20 with 8 captures. I'm just like I'm dying every 3 seconds. I'm like sprinting everywhere.
It gets hectic, bro.
Yeah. But yeah,
I have another game, but I can wait if other people want to go.
Well, on the same vein, the mainline FPS multiplayer, Battlefield 2042.
Mm-hmm.
Not like 100% a disappointment, but just
isn't it just
a
janky?
Disappointment.
Isn't it just janky?
It's janky. Yes, it's janky, and the problems that people would cite would happen to you like once, and then never again. But you'd be like, oh, that's what everybody was talking about. So we had a friend who like quit playing for a little bit because he couldn't change his loadout in the middle, and we were like, "What are you talking about? You just move over, like you're stupid." But then it happened to us, and it was nothing. It was like all gray at the bottom, like you couldn't even figure out what weapon you're gonna spawn with, and so it was just stuff like that would randomly happen, or you would enter a game and then immediately get kicked out of it, and then it would never happen to you again. It was like, is this like a real problem, or is it just random? So it's taking, I guess I would sum it up in saying it's taking too much perseverance to keep playing it.
Yeah.
Than it should.
And
like, it should just be like, oh, I want to play it.
That's a full-priced multiplayer only game. Which is a strange decision. I don't understand that.
The premise for this is actually a great premise that like would be awesome if they had a campaign for. Like, do you know what the premise is?
Not
it's
enough
basically,
to... Yeah, no.
It's basically, we're in the future, and every country has gone bankrupt besides... you know what year. And every country has gone bankrupt besides Russia and the U.S. And so when the countries like go bankrupt, basically their citizens are like non-patriated, and so they can like side with either side in this war, and basically they're like mercenaries that are out there to like get their kids fed, basically, because Russia and the U.S. own all the resources. And it's like a climate change thing too, is why like everybody has no resources. So like one of the places you go is like you're literally fighting over a like technologically enhanced like farm in Egypt that has made Egypt into like an oasis in this little farm. And so like on one side of the wall it's just like barren wasteland desert, on the other side of the wall it's like this huge like green landscape that you're on, that they've used hydroponics and whatever to make stuff actually grow there. So it's a great premise, but then there's no campaign.
Yeah.
So
now, do you like I know there's like, how does it work in the game? There's operators, like the like you pick like a.
Okay. Yeah.
Do they have like a background? Like, is there story weaved into the multiplayer? In that.
Yeah,
aspect?
I mean, I think there's bios for everybody that you can read, and like you can kind of tell like, oh, this is the Eastern European lady. Oh, this is the German guy.
Is it just
This
skin deep?
person's from
Just
France.
like a basic.
Just because he cusses in German and she cusses in French and whatever, like stuff like that. And each one, so everybody can use the same pool of gadgets, everybody can use the same pool of throwables, and everybody can use the same pool of weapons. But then the specialist stuff has pretty much a passive ability and an active ability.
Yeah.
For example, there's one character called Sundance who has the wingsuit. And so she, instead of like pulling out her parachute when she's going down, pulls out the wingsuit, and she can go like 8 times as far as anybody else.
The wingsuit's only one character?
Yeah, you have to play that operator to get the wingsuit. Yep. Yeah. And then her passive, I guess you could call it, is that's more of her passive. Her active is she has these different types of grenades. So she has like scatter grenades, and then like a homing like anti-armor grenade that follows them around. There's a character I use who can call in a loadout crate, so you can change your loadout in the middle of a match. It's basically like, what was the perk in Call of Duty, like One Man Army or something like that, where you had the backpack and you could like re-suit up with a different loadout. He can do that, but everybody can go up to it and grab it, and it refills all of your gadgets and stuff. So like, I'll use it because I'll be shooting tanks with my rocket launcher and then run out of rockets and go and get another loadout and have 4 rockets again, kind of a thing.
Do you feel like it brings in like a like each team has to have a certain operator to be functional kind of thing?
I wish it did, but it doesn't, because
it's good. I mean, I feel
basically
like you wouldn't want to nail down like every team has the same 3 operators. What I'm getting at, like.
Yeah, well, okay, so here it kind of does that, because what ends up being the problem is everybody plays this guy. So there's only 2 game modes. Here's another thing. There's only 2 game modes. Everything else is a rotating game mode. That's kind of disappointing because they've come out with every game mode in the beginning from Battlefield. I assume they're going to add more once it's ready, but like I guess the stuff's not polished.
Yeah. Like the rest of the game.
And so yeah, exactly like the rest of the game. Jeez. So Conquest is like the normal one that you see in a lot of Battlefields. There's different flags, and the more that you capture, you make your enemy team like bleed kills and whatever.
Yeah.
And then Breakthrough is one that they kind of have had in other games, but they've repurposed it a little bit in this, where you're just fighting over 2 objectives, and there's defenders and attackers, and the attackers have a certain number of lives. So you either win as a defender by exhausting all of the lives, or as an attacker by taking all the objectives, like 1 or 2 at a time, all the way to the final objective.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, everybody plays Breakthrough because the EXP gain is better in Breakthrough, but that means everybody also plays this operator named Boris, where they put down a sentry gun, and that's all they do. Literally, it's like a knee-jerk reaction for people that play Boris to just pull out his sentry gun, put it down, and like, sometimes they get a free kill off of it because they changed it to where it stays alive after he dies. So you'll kill the guy, and you're like, ha, gotcha, and then the sentry gun will be like, no, you didn't, and shoot you down after. So that part with the operators makes it pretty frustrating that for some people, he's like the obvious choice for Breakthrough, and that's like all they pick. But there's a couple different people that can be field medics. The guy I play can revive everybody. There's another character who's like a dedicated medic who can revive everybody. Other than that, you can only revive your squad mates. So I think there's a good mix. There's just a few that are kind of not necessarily go-tos, but a lot of people use them, overused.
Gotcha. Cool. So Lumber, do you have any disappointments or surprises? I've got 2 I can list off if you don't have any.
I didn't. So I guess I have one that we haven't already. Well, we have spoken about, but not in this section. But you know, Guardians was a big one for me because I wasn't expecting to buy that game. Another game that I, really didn't even know about until pretty close. Like that game really surprised me just because it kind of came out of nowhere for me. I had no experience with the series.
Can you repeat the game? I lost specifically when you said the game.
I wanted to keep everyone in suspense on that.
Yeah.
No, Tales of Arise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we spoke about it a lot, but I just wanted to mention that, like, given how I had no experience with the series, nor did I. Just came out left field for me. It was definitely a huge surprise how much I.
Yeah.
So.
My two, I guess, disappointments. One more so than the other. One game is a game I liked. Is Mario Golf Super Rush. I liked that game at its core. It's a fun golf game. But I just feel like they could have added a little more single-player content. There's plenty of map variety, but I mean, the speed golf is fun if you're playing with people. I would never play that by myself. And then that's about it. Like the battle mode's kind of weird. Like where you like, I don't even know what you call it. You first want to make 3 holes. I don't even know what that's called, but.
Oh yeah, I think it is battle mode. Yeah,
battle golf.
Yeah. I wish there was like a mini golf mode or like a, hit the ball through the rings mode like in the other games. I feel like that wouldn't be too hard to implement, especially a mini golf mode. They could have made such a fun like little game out of that. The game itself is fun, just a little bare bones. And then my biggest disappointment, and it's a disappointment for one specific reason. I was really excited for Game Builder Garage because I thought there was a lot of promise there, but they made the Nintendo decision that I was afraid they were going to make. They didn't make it like a Mario Maker like search system where you can find like a list of like top voted games and like basically just like a shopping cart, go find the games you want or search. It's literally like if you want to play a game, you have to go on the internet on like Reddit and find somebody's game and punch in a code. It's so dumb. It shouldn't be like that. They should have just done what they already had in Mario Maker and allow you to rate games and have a list of like the best games, because there's some cool stuff on there, but you have to go out of your way to find it. You can't just and then the
classic Nintendo.
Yeah, and then the base game itself is literally just like teaching you how to make a game, which is that's cool, that's fun, it's fine, but the promise of the game, I feel like they didn't support it enough to like actually do what it could be, which I think
I guess the competitor for something like that would be that game Dream.
Yeah.
On PlayStation, I think that one has been highly acclaimed for just the stuff that people are able to do, and then like just what they have set up for creators to,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's with that already existing, the fact that they still failed. I mean, it's just. What are you gonna do?
It's like they intended it. Like they had a good idea and they shot themselves in the foot, like only they can.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Always with online features.
Yeah, it just felt like I said with Mario Maker, they literally already have that system figured out. They could have, just implemented what they had in that game, and they just decided not to for some weird reason.
Right.
But that's all any other 2021 topics? Anything else for anyone 2021 related?
Yeah, let me bring up It Takes Two, because I actually started playing it with Aiden. Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Hopefully he watches it.
So, it's one of those games that's like, wow, this is getting Game of the Year and a bunch of other awards. It must be freaking amazing. Let me check it out. And it's not amazing. It's a good game. It's a good 3D platformer, and some of the challenges are fun. It's a fun game. But Game of the Year, I mean, I saw GameStop's or Game Informer, whatever you want to call it. They had their top 10 list, and the game was like 8, and I was like, yeah, that seems better. I don't know what happened there with the Game Awards, but like it's just a good game. It's not better than
all the people voting were going through divorces at the time, so it was very like.
Well, that's the problem with like things like the Game Awards. I wonder if like. Because there's a pretty big variety in the the Game of the Year nominees this year. I wonder if like all the people voting, because it's like I think it's like 90% industry and like 10% fan vote. I wonder if like everyone in the industry played It Takes Two, and then they all played like one or two of the others, and it just won by like having like a large pool. I don't know. It looks fun. I've looked at gameplay, but like you said, it doesn't look like anything revolutionary. But I haven't played the whole game. Can't really judge it quite yet. I was surprised though that it won Game of the Year.
Story itself is probably the best part. That's what you can write home about. It's fun. It's interesting. But it's nothing game changing.
I do think it's a cool feature that if you purchase the game, it comes with a free copy for a friend. That's a cool. Because it does take two. So
it does.
That it does.
I do think that's cool. It's the same model as that one game where you escape from prison, No Way Out, right?
Yeah.
No Way Out. Yeah.
I think that's all by the same. And he has one other game. Brothers. Like
yes.
that?
Yeah. Something. I can't remember the exact name, but that sounds right.
What's it like? Loomlight or something Light Studios?
Hazelight.
Hazelight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. This next little section, I want to go over like non-2021 games we played and like maybe series we got into. A lot of these games for me are things I've mentioned, like Halo and Metroid and Tales. So if y'all have any of those, y'all can like list them off. But is there anything like any older games y'all got into this year that we haven't mentioned yet?
Someone else can go first. I feel like I don't want to monopolize the conversation, but
I played. I'll go ahead. I played Blasphemous this year. It's actually a 2019 game.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that game. It's just like kind of a Souls-like platformer, sort of like Metroid in a way, right? Of you try and figure out these bosses, and by the end of it, like you could probably beat it 3 times in a row. The same way, like a pretty compelling story, a little bit disturbing at times and stuff. So yeah, that was one for me from this year that I played this year that came from an earlier year.
I think they just put out DLC or DLC is coming for that game, something like that.
There's one that had been out, and then there might be one coming.
Yeah,
sure.
I think another one is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game's like on my never-ending list of games. If I, play video games for a living, I would get
that
to.
you'll enjoy. If
Yeah.
you have time you.
Yeah.
It's not a crazy time commitment, but it would be a pretty good time
It
commitment.
would take up a time slot.
Yeah.
It would take up a time slot for sure. It's not on a Bowser's Fury level.
Yeah.
3-4 hours.
Speaking of time commitments that I enjoyed, I played my first Dragon Quest game this year, and Dragon Quest 11.
Very good.
Golly, that game is good. I played it for like 70 hours.
Yeah.
I liked it way more than I thought. Like I knew I was gonna like it, but I liked it a lot.
I told you.
the
I knew it
story-
was right up your alley.
The story
Like,
was good. The gameplay was good. The animation, the music, all of it was top notch.
Akira Toriyama.
Yeah.
He's the legend.
The Dragon Ball guy. Yeah, it was very good. I was never wanting to put that game down. Like when it ended, it wasn't like, oh, finally that's over. Like I wouldn't say sad. I still enjoyed finishing it, but it was really good. And it has like the ending of the game, and then it has like the post game ending of the game that is like the post game basically feels like the main game. Like you feel like you had to play it.
Yeah.
It was very good. I'm definitely going to get Dragon Quest 12. I downloaded some of the mobile ports for Dragon Quest 1 and 2 on the Switch. I haven't gotten to those yet. But yeah,
I still hear like they're not like terrible. Maybe people who experience the original games like really have problems with them. I still think they're probably
serviceable.
Yeah, serviceable.
That's and then Xenoblade Chronicles. I got into Xenoblade. Mm-hmm. I played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 this year. I really like same thing like Dragon Quest. Basically, all the things I just said about Dragon Quest. Same thing with Xenoblade. It's more of a. It's not a turn-based. It's like a somewhat action, somewhat auto battler kind of.
Yep.
But it's a lot of fun. I'm going to play 2. 2's my next big game I want to get into. Xenoblade 2. I liked it a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, well, since you mentioned Xenoblade Chronicles, I played Xenoblade 2 this year. Played Xenoblade last year, a little while after they released the definitive edition on Switch. And I'm hooked on that series now. I need to get the DLC for 2, but I've been wrapped into other things, and it's always a big time commitment.
I downloaded it. I'll get to it in 600 hours.
Yeah. I should have downloaded it when you did because it.
Yeah.
Either way, I do need to play it, but looking forward to at some point. But yeah, I'm hooked on that series. I think it's definitely hit or miss for people. And Bird Dog, you may be able to speak to this, like on if you're going to enjoy the combat, the stories. I feel like you can't really knock the story. It's very interesting, especially if you play both. But yeah, the combat kind of like the MMO-esque like auto battling stuff. It's not for everybody. But I feel like the combat system, like in 2 versus 1, it really just taking. And I like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 combat way more than the first one, and that's saying a lot. I still liked Xenoblade 1 combat a lot, so it just takes a big leap forward. So I'm looking forward to what may come in the third installment there.
Anything on your end, Christian? Games that you got into this year? Old games you didn't think you'd like or anything like that?
I beat 41 games this year, and only 4 of them released this year. So
Wow.
I do have quite a few to talk about, but let me just get through a couple here. Gravity Rush, I played way back in April, and I played that on the PS Now service. Or what is it called? That's what it is.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
You have PS
got a little
Now?
1 month trial.
Oh,
There you
okay,
go.
1 month trial. Okay, I was about to say, I was like,
Yeah, that was a cool game. My friend Craig is a big fan of that series, and I decided to check it out with my 1 month, and yeah, it was a pretty good game. I mean, I think Spider-Man is the better game personally. The Marvel's 2018 Spider-Man.
I find
They're
that hard to
pretty
argue
similar.
against. That game's pretty damn good.
What else did I play? Ratchet and Clank. I got my first experience with that series this year, for the most part.
And which
Dabbled
one
in it.
did
When
you
you say
play?
Ratchet and Clank, do you mean like Ratchet and Clank PS2?
Yeah.
No. For some reason, I started with Into the Nexus. I don't know why.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
There are better ones, but it is still a good one. Yeah, I remember now you played that.
Yeah, it seems like a good more than a year ago.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that was a good game. I had a good time with it. Definitely want to get more into the series. On the same vein, so those are 2 PlayStation exclusives that I played this year. I also played Uncharted for the first time.
Oh wow.
Uncharted 1?
That was, yeah, I played the Tomb Raider games, the modern Tomb Raider games, which are like clones of Uncharted, honestly. But the first Uncharted was not great. I've been told that the second one picks it up a whole lot.
Yeah.
And
The second one's my favorite of the... Well, I've only played the 4 numbered ones. I haven't played Lost Legacy, but 2 is my favorite of the 4.
That's what most people say. 2 and 3 are elite. I'll go back and play some sequels. I have the little trilogy or whatever,
Yeah,
the
me too.
remastered thing.
Yeah.
Katamari, another game that I tried for the first time this year.
Katamari's fun.
That's like stupid fun, honestly. It's like you just roll a ball and
It's very
collect crap.
cathartic, as some would say.
It's
Yeah,
so,
Lizard
so
brain,
fun.
yeah.
Okay, is anyone else gonna go? Should I keep going?
I played my favorite 2D Mario ever this year, and it's also probably the shortest 2D Mario. I played Mario Land 2 for the first time this year. I thought that game was a lot of fun. It was fun because it was like zany, like weird, like Super Mario Bros. 2. Like everything's like there's a Mario themed level where you play like in a giant like robot Mario that gets the whole world. There's like a space level where the gravity's different. It was a lot of fun. I actually today I purchased a cart so I can play on this thing.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Show it off.
I purchased a
What
physical
did you
cart.
play it on?
I played it on the 3DS Virtual Console.
Oh,
It was
With
like
the doorstop.
the doorstop. Yeah, the doorstop 3DS, 2DS. It was like $3, so it's like okay.
wow.
It was like it's a short game. I think it took me like 2 hours to beat it. So I literally bought it one Saturday morning and just like drank it coffee and beat it one morning, and I was like, that was amazing. And like for $3, you can't beat that. So I like the game a lot. I would like a Link's Awakening Switch-like remake of that game on the Switch.
Right.
That'd be awesome.
I have one to add, I guess, to kind of first experiences. So I don't know if this counts, but I played Final Fantasy VII Remake last year when it released, and then that encouraged me to. The years are kind of blurring together, but I'm pretty sure this year is when I played Final Fantasy 12, which would be the first mainline, not a remaster Final Fantasy game that I played. And Final Fantasy 12 was.
Yep.
And for those who don't understand the Final Fantasy game, they're not connected except for the very explicit numbered sequel. So you can jump in anywhere, maybe do a little bit of research because some of them have different, gameplay styles.
Yeah.
This one has like kind of the MMO-esque feel too. There's auto attack, commanding your different characters to do spells and different attacks and stuff like that. And what I really liked about the game This is just like super nerdy, but you could basically preset, like, based on different conditions, like have your characters do specific things. Like, okay, if an enemy comes up that is weak to ice, this character is going to do an ice spell. Like, that's going to be its problem. So there's lots like that. It was almost coding, programming.
Like if-then kind of thing?
Yeah, it was like, yeah, exactly. Conditional statements, like, or like if a character drops below 50%, this character... And there's different parts for, moves. So you can really get, like, deep into the weeds with that. And it's, of course, it's a big, bombastic Final Fantasy story. But that one is really good because it's a PS2 era game, but it's got a on Switch. I think I played it on Xbox Game Pass, which I think it was the remastered version. And so really good way to experience it. Steep learning curve maybe just to get used to all the that's any JRPG, I guess. But yeah, that was a really good time.
Which Final Fantasy is that?
Final Fantasy 12.
XII, as some would say.
Some would say, yeah.
Not completely on topic, but I guess I need to mention it now. You brought Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 7 Remake Intergrade came out this year. That DLC was very good, and the PS5 visuals of that game are very good.
Yep.
That's just like a random thought that came to mind.
Yeah. No, that's on my list of, like, kind of favorite things I played this year that weren't, like, Game of the Year because it's a DLC, but yeah Intergrade was really good.
Well, cool. You want to finish up our discussions here with some stuff looking forward, some 2022 hopefuls. Anyone have anything they want to say? I know 3 of us at least will have one thing. I'm sure all of us have another. So who wants to
let Landy do the honors on that one?
Take the big one upcoming.
What do you think?
All right, well, of course, I can start it off again. The big one that we're looking forward to, at least I'm sure Bird Dog might be as well, is Elden Ring. We had a podcast dedicated to that too, where I got brought in as I wouldn't say the Dark Souls expert, but a fellow connoisseur of Souls games.
We've amassed all of our experience.
Partoken.
Yeah.
Partoken?
Yeah. Partoken. So that's definitely a big hope. Trying to be as calm about it as I can, so I don't overhype it for myself. But
I'm not watching trailers at this point anymore. Like, if I see something on Twitter and it's like a 10-second clip, I'll watch it. But like, they keep releasing more like they had that whole beta thing where they had like people have like hours of gameplay out there. I haven't watched any of that.
I didn't look at any of that.
Yeah. I tried to get in on that. Apparently, I didn't play enough FromSoft games. They asked you what games you had played.
Yeah.
Miyazaki himself said no. Lander not good enough.
Not good enough. That game looks freaking good. Bird Dog, do you have any interest in Elden Ring? I know you haven't played any other Souls games, but has Elden Ring piqued your interest?
Yeah, it has. It's going to be the game that everyone's talking about for the entire year, and I think I'm going to actually pick it up. It'll be my first entry into the series, but I want to be there with all the hype.
Excellent.
I don't know about Landy, but I know both Sir Lumber and I, both of our first experience with Souls games, I got stuck and like came back to it later, and then like blew through that like wall and just kept going.
Yes. Yep. My personal experience was Bloodborne. Yeah. There was a really mean NPC, or I guess not NPC, but just another hunter character that you have to fight, and I could not beat him.
Yep.
And just before him is a giant spider, and I'm not a fan of spiders, so every time I lost to him, it was less and less motivation to keep going past it. So I dropped that game for a few months, and then eventually came. And blew through it.
I came to visit you when you were at your first college dorm apartment.
That's what it was.
And you showed me that spider.
I hated it, bro. I hate when people say this, but I'm going to say it. Like, Dark Souls 3, I was struggling with it as a super steep learning curve, and at some point it just clicked. I just understood the mechanics. I knew the crafting and how to find weapons and how to upgrade stuff, and understood how to go into a boss fight. And everyone, the meme is like, get good, and I hate when people say that, but that's what it was. I just eventually I understood the game. I knew what I was supposed to be doing. I got real into it, and now Dark Souls 3 is like in my actual like top 10 games of all time. Like I love that game so much. I've played through it like 5 times.
Yeah, well, it's the perfect setting for you. It's the perfect grindy satisfaction.
Lizard brain.
Just
Lizard brain.
Hit thing, make number go big.
Number go big. Yep.
Yeah, that's all you need. And since we're on the top of Elden Ring, and I feel like this is like bringing together so many elements. Right, like this year. So I'm a huge fan of these games, and I think my favorite, if I have to be honest, probably Sekiro, which is probably the most different of the From Software games. But we're seeing elements of that, kind of like the stealth, and you can jump in this game, so it's like easily you can jump.
I'm
in the other
terrified for the jump. I'm terrified for the jump.
Yeah, well, it's
because it's going to be fun, but they're going to expect you to utilize that.
Yes,
like
you should go play Sekiro then.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah, and these games are so good, and I think maybe Sekiro more than any of the other ones. Yes, the steep learning curve, but when you get it, it is like, it's the best feeling. And Sekiro is like so sad. Landy, I think you played Sekiro. Like, it is just the best feeling once you've mastered it. You feel like no enemy can do anything to you. So I'm looking forward to just the combination of the different Souls games into one. It looks like that's what they're doing here. Plus the open.
Miyazaki's magnum opus, as it
is. That's what this is happening. Yes.
I'll take the next obvious 2022 hopeful that I feel like all of us will probably play, and that's the Breath of the Wild sequel. I've talked about it 100 times. I'm sure everyone else has heard people talk about it. I hope somehow they can capture that magic again.
It's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough.
And it's not going to be because it's not a good game. It's going to be because people's expectations, probably.
I don't know how you follow up Breath of the Wild without just doing it again with like a new map and like dungeons.
Right.
Because that game is already so open and lets you experiment with the physics and
Well, you can't capture the exact same thing because it was such a deviation from the traditional formula of Zelda games. So as long as they don't really screw it up, I just don't think
they're taking their time. It's going to be over 5 years since, because we're coming up on 5. We're coming up on 5 years of the Switch in a few months, so it'll be like 5.5 years of time.
Right.
So we'll see. I would be happy if that game had the same structure or similar structure, maybe with dungeons. Some more permanent weapon options, and then maybe a more fleshed out story. Like the story was good in Breath of the Wild, but maybe you had to kind of like a Souls game, you had to look for the story. Maybe a little more in your face with the story than Breath of the Wild. I think they could nail it if they did that.
Yeah, I trust them.
Yep.
As long as they don't add online features, we're good.
Hey man, imagine 100 links dropping down like a battle royale. The middle of the map is the Master Sword. You're shooting laser beams at them.
One guy's riding a Lionel over there.
There we go. Yeah, I would be down. I would play the hell out of that. Anyone else have any 2022 hopes?
I do. Tiny Tina's and new news for that game on you guys is a friend of mine that I game share with is going to play it, at least for the start. So we'll have a full stack.
Nice.
For sure. So
Borderlands
excited
games
for
are a lot
that.
of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I still have the Borderlands 3 overlay as my PlayStation that came with pre-ordering it. So
Borderlands 3 is the only experience still that I have with that series and that world. So, but this one, I'm a sucker for a fantasy.
Yep.
That's what they're doing here. So looking forward to it.
They have a pretty good sized trailer or whatever during the awards, and it's piqued my interest. So I might play it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a first person shooter at its base, and it's also an RPG looter, and the co-op is so fun. The co-op, it scales the enemies up, so it's more difficult. We have more players.
It's made to be a full squad of 4.
It's cross progression, so if I join your world and I do a mission, I have that in my world. It's not you got to do it all again kind of thing. So when Borderlands is good, Borderlands is very good.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you there. That was a good pick.
My 2022 games, definitely looking forward to Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I think that game is going to be pretty awesome. You know, it'll probably be on the same scale as Halo Infinite was for the series. I'm hoping it's gonna be like that because
Kirby with a battle rifle.
Right. Kirby coming in a warthog.
Kirby is just way too easy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a fun series, but man, you can get through those games in like 3 hours. It's just like it's not worth $60.
Yeah, if it's Kirby Odyssey, like
Yeah, Super Kirby Odyssey.
like Mario, Super Kirby Odyssey, hey, yeah, I'd be interested.
That'd be crazy.
Yep.
I guess
Another one that no one is gonna mention is Marvel's Midnight Suns. I think
Oh.
that
I forgot about that.
I
Yeah.
don't know what that game is. I'm sure I'm gonna
No one
pick it up.
does.
I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy
They don't
it.
even know what it is.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a cool one. I was looking up 2022 games to try to say something a little different, and
That's a really good shout. Yeah, I had forgotten about that one. Was that E3 when they first brought it up? Perhaps.
I think
I
so.
don't remember.
I think so, but has since been delayed into 2022. I think it was gonna be like an
Oh.
early 2022. Now it's like a late 2022. I think.
Okay.
I might have got that wrong, but it's still 2022.
Yeah.
That was probably a PlayStation showcase event when they did Wolverine and
I think
whatever
you
else.
are right about that. Actually, yeah,
Possible, yeah.
that sounds right.
Yeah, it's like a deck builder RPG strategy thing. It's like you like
Midnight Suns?
yeah, like you like get cards
What?
and like it's like Doctor Strange is gonna do his like crazy
No
this attack
way.
and then he does it's like a deck builder.
I guess I haven't looked into it much at all. So wow.
They had like a
That's
15-minute gameplay thing where they revealed it and it turned some people off because they're like because it's made by the people who make XCOM or people who have experience making XCOM.
That's right. That's right.
So
Okay.
you thought it was gonna
yeah.
be like XCOM, but it's like a card deck builder XCOM. But I like Marvel games typically, and if it has some strategy elements, I can normally gel with that.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Well,
strategy games, I was
hey.
going to gel with my 3 games. 2 of them are announced. One is not announced, but I hope it will be. I have Triangle Strategy, Advance Wars, and hopefully it's about time for another Fire Emblem. I love strategy tactical games. Triangle Strategy specifically comes out like on my birthday, and that game looks freaking dope. I played the demo, and it's amazing. It's basically a Fire Emblem game, but a little more tactical. I don't know. It's basically a Fire Emblem game. But
right. Isn't there a Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy Tactics?
Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, so it's basically a spiritual successor to Final Fantasy Tactics, which I never played. And then I played the demo for Triangle Strategy, and it's like, oh, this is just a Fire Emblem game. With like more unique skills and stuff like that. And the story, in the demo, they give you a few options to like. They said it's gonna be like a 50-hour story, and you make choices along the way that like divert the path. You like choose like to like, you know, go back and defend this place or keep running. And I'm assuming it'll like divert what maps you play, depending on what you choose in each of those things. And you have to like talk to the townsfolk to see how they're gonna, because the whole thing is like you vote like a democratic vote on what to do, and you have to like go talk to the townsfolk in like the pre-map area and like see what they're gonna vote for, and then you can like try to like convince them otherwise or like convince them what you want to do and like use that to like get what you want out of it. It's a cool idea. The gameplay's fun. I'm really excited for it. And then Advance Wars is just like. I've played Wargroove.
Right.
Advance Wars is made originally by Intelligent Systems, who makes the Fire Emblem games. I have not played Advance Wars specifically, but I played Advance Wars like games, so I'm pretty sure I'll like it. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
One thing that we probably need to mention that we haven't yet is Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is now
why didn't I think
away?
that?
Almost exactly, maybe.
That's almost so close where I kind of forget that that's like not.
Yeah,
it's like
it's next year technically, and yeah, it's gonna come very quickly. I'm looking forward to that one for sure because you know it could be. I feel like it's a cliche to say, but like on the level of change as Breath of the Wild was, to Zelda, like it could do that, and it could set some kind of template for how Pokemon continues to evolve rather than. I guess stagnate as it kind of has, in recent years. So at least and I don't think it's going to do away with the traditional stuff, but it could be a second genre to go into.
Yeah, and you can dodge roll. So
Right, there you go. It's Dark Souls Pokemon based.
I feel like they're going to use this game as like the perfect excuse. Like if it's a complete flop, they're going to be like, that was just a side spin thing. And if it works,
they better
like,
not
this,
do that to my
this
favorite
is the
generation.
plan all along. Oh yeah, yeah.
Gen 4 is not a guinea pig. Dang it! Don't do that.
It looks like it's going to be their guinea pig, actually.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a day one pickup for me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
Yep. I guess it's like a month from today. It's like January.
Yeah,
28th.
no, that's what I was thinking. I think it's the 28th. Yeah.
Start that countdown. And another quick 2022. I thought you'd mention Brendan, God of War.
Yeah, I have it on my list.
God of War's
just so obvious.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The first game was a lot of fun. Really cool story. Yeah. They changed the gameplay. The second one looks like it's just going to build on that and just be another.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time. I may even try to snag like a color. Yeah. Which I forgot to mention. I did snag that for Elden Ring. And if there's any like formative game series for me, God of War, Pokemon, and Ratchet and Clank are things like God of War probably at too early an age given that those games are. Yeah. But I do love those games, and the fact that the way they changed the 2018 game.
Those QuickTime events as a child must have been something.
There's something.
X, circle, something. Square. What am I doing?
Yeah. What's happening? But yeah, so really looking forward to that because, I mean, the story is so much more, versus what it was before. It was just, I'm angry at everything.
Yeah.
And now it's like, this father-son interaction and,
Now I'm angry and old.
And I have a son, so I get to take it out on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, looking forward to that. And then, just, I guess while I'm talking, just real quick, another kind of surprise hit back in 2017, unfortunately was placed up against Breath of the Wild. The sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, is coming out.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the date because I can't remember. It's very close to Elden Ring, right?
It's going to get butchered by Elden Ring. It got butchered by Breath of the Wild, and now it's going to get butchered by Elden Ring.
I don't know why they. I mean, I don't think they intended to.
They delayed and then Elden Ring delayed.
I know. It just.
Yeah.
They tried. They tried. And this is going to be tough. I need to look up the exact date because Elden Ring is so much more. That is my most anticipated game for next year. So
that game is a drop everything and play for me.
Probably over the Breath of the Wild sequel. It's a close one, but the Breath of the Wild sequel, I think it's just because I know so. I don't even know what it's called. I still have to keep saying Breath of the Wild sequel.
It's called the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That's so annoying. So Elden Ring, that is my most anticipated game. It's gonna unfortunately just over Horizon, but I'll probably still pick both of them up. Horizon will sit on the shelf however long, and then I'll go back to it. So.
Cool. Well, fellas, I think that about does it for our discussion here. Thank y'all for coming out. I appreciate y'all sticking by and having this conversation.
Yeah. It looks like Andy's on Paranormal Activity or something right now.
He's slowly fading.
It got really dark. My room was lit by natural light, so when the sun goes down, that goes away.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It's really suspenseful. It's closing in.
He gets like Wall Master grabbed out of the room
So bad. So bad.
Check out where's he at? I think he's this way. Bird Dog. I'm gonna have all of his stuff in the descriptions. All that good jargon. Thank you for coming, Bird Dog.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for leaving me on your TV for 2 hours right there.
Oh, that's still there? Oh, my bad.
Man.
Sorry, I was just trying to look up some information on who you were. Shout out to that guy. I really appreciate it. All right, we're back with a secret bonus game to end this video. Our faces are not here because I am not technologically advanced enough to make that work. But everyone's still here. And I have a, kind of goofy, maybe fun, maybe not fun game to play involving the spirit section of Smash Bros. Ultimate, okay? Everyone down for this?
I'm intrigued.
Sweet.
Okay, so what this game's going to be, I'm going to go into the spirit board, okay? Y'all are familiar with the spirit board. Has everyone seen this screen?
Correct,
Indeed.
Yes.
Okay. I have 70 of these shuffle alls, as y'all can see here. I'm going to shuffle all, and then we're going to get a whole new set of 10 spirits, okay? Y'all's job is to let me know if there is a Fire Emblem character on that screen. Somewhere on this screen, if there's a Fire Emblem character. The first one to say yes gets to guess which numbered game from Fire Emblem 1 through 16 they're from.
Oh man!
The first one to 3 points wins. If you just yell out yes and you're incorrect, you have to skip a round. If you guess wrong, the next person can try to steal, and so on and so forth. I think 3 is I picked a low number because I know y'all don't have a whole lot of experience, but I think it'd be just random enough to where you can kind of recognize what a Fire Emblem character looks like, but not enough to know necessarily that they're a Fire Emblem character. I'm going to be working off my noggin from the games they're from. Unless I don't know it offhand, I might do a quick search, but I should know them. So yeah, it'll make more sense when we play, but basically I want someone to yell out yes or no, or yell out yes. You don't have to say no. Just yell yes if you think there's a Fire Emblem character on the screen after I shuffle. Does that make sense to everybody?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Everyone down for this?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the latency is going to be like, but I'm about to shuffle, and then when someone thinks there's... Oh, and if there's 2 characters, I forgot to say this. If there's 2, I think you can choose to go for, like, both, and I will give you 2 points. I'll give you 3 total points if you get 2, and so on and so forth. But if you guess wrong on the second one, someone can steal that 2 point.
So we only get a point if we guess the game they're from?
Yeah, because I think you'll be able to guess if there's one on the screen pretty easily. That's why I have several shuffles. So
there's 16 games?
There's 16 games.
Oh my gosh.
If you can guess
one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, maybe we should narrow it down. Maybe we can guess you can guess the console that game was on.
Okay. So
okay, wait a minute. Can I modify the game? What if the first person who says yes gets like the advantage in Price is Right rules, so they get to go last? So it's like Price is Right rules.
Okay.
If you guess like one,
what if you want to go
all the way
first?
through 16,
you have the option to go first.
Or yeah, you get to choose where you want to go in the order, right?
So,
if you know it, you just say I'll go first and just guess it right away, and then the other people have to do.
Here's what we'll do. First one to 5 points. If you guess the numbered game, you get 3 points. If you guess the console it's on, you get 1 point.
Okay.
So we got NES, SNES, no N64, GameCube, Wii, no Wii U, Switch, and then we have Game Boy Advance and 3DS.
Oh my gosh.
So basically everything.
I had no idea that there was a Fire Emblem on Famicom. This is news to me.
Yeah. So basically everything but the N64 and the Wii U, and the original Game Boy.
Okay.
All right, everyone at a consensus?
That works.
I think so.
All right, and I'm going to go with what I hear first. If it's close, I might, give it a 50-50
sudden death round.
Sudden death round.
You make us fight to the death.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Ready.
Ready for the first shuffle.
I think so.
Any takers?
No.
Mm-mm. Yes.
All right, Sir Lumber. Who's on the screen?
Is it Titania?
All right, Titania from Fire Emblem series. Oh, do you want to guess the number game, or you want to guess the console?
I want to guess the console. There's no way I'm getting the number.
Okay.
And these games aren't all numbered, right? They have like subtitles and stuff.
They're not numbered in the actual title, but they do have like on the Wikipedia they are numbered like through 1 through 16.
Yeah, right. Okay, no, I'm guessing the console. That's for sure. You said SNES was there was
everything but the N64, the Wii U, and the original Game Boy.
I'll go GameCube.
You get 1 point. Titania is on the GameCube and the Wii.
Wow.
So Sir Lumber takes the early lead with 1 point, a commanding lead
Very
in a game
good.
like this.
Commanding in this game.
Good job.
All right, you ready for the shuffle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did this earlier, and there was way more frequent.
I was gonna say, is this your roundabout way of proving that there's not too many Fire Emblem characters in Smash?
No, I would do this earlier, and I had several in a row.
This is funny. The suspense is building.
The suspense is building.
Yes.
Okay. Who is
We're
it?
down to 5 shuffles here.
Who do we
Merrick?
got? Merrick, okay. Fire Emblem series.
Oh, very nice.
Jeez. Shoot. SNES.
So you are correct. Merrick is on the yeah. So
Oh my God.
this is kind of an easy
Good
one because
job.
Merrick's in 1, 3, 11, and 12. So he's on the
Okay.
NES, the SNES, and the and the DS. So you get a point.
Gotcha.
So a commanding lead for Sir Lumber. Maybe
That is
maybe
demanding.
insurmountable. New rule for Sir Lumber: if you get another one until someone else scores, you have to go for the
Lose.
number. You have to go for the 3-pointer.
Oh, I have to go for the.
You gotta start shooting
the
threes.
number.
You gotta start
Okay.
shooting threes next
That's
All
fine.
right.
until someone else catches up to you.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, real quick before you hit that, is there a negative effect if I say yes and it's not a Fire Emblem character?
You have to skip the next round that there is a Fire Emblem character on screen. You can't play until another one shows
That's
up.
right. Okay.
Yeah, so you can't just say yes. All right.
Just every screen. Yes. Yes.
I almost got me with Young Zelda.
Me too.
For real?
actually.
Yes.
All right, was that Bird
I'm
Dog?
gonna say Raven. I gotta take some chances out here.
Fire
Yeah,
Emblem
that's
series.
Fair. Very good.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, very nice. I should get a point for saying he looks like Roy and then Roy popping up.
That's kind of true.
All right, I have to say the console, or if I'm feeling ballsy, I gotta say the number.
Right.
I'm gonna say Super Famicom.
Wah, wah.
All right, you're
Alright,
real
where's it
cool,
from?
Brendan. You know that
What?
with your 2 points.
All right, y'all gonna steal this? Y'all gonna steal this?
My 2 points, bro.
Oh yeah.
We'll give it to
We should
Landy
steal it.
next.
Oh, we can steal it. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he gets it wrong. I'll go with GameCube.
Wah, wah. So Lumber's got to guess the number.
I have to guess the number. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's just the number, right? I don't have to guess like, ooh, Fire
No.
Emblem Awakening. Like,
No,
right?
no.
Okay. And now I don't know what most or any except for 16, which is the most recent Fire Emblem,
Yeah.
like what these numbers line
Yeah.
up with. So, because I only played that one. Shoot, Raven. Okay, speak to me. What number do you like? 8.
No, Raven is from Fire Emblem 7 on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh my gosh, I was so.
Oh my gosh, you're so close.
The first Western released Fire Emblem game.
Man, Christian, that's your number. You should just guess the number.
Should have guessed 7. You could have taken the lead.
That would have instantly been the lead.
Are y'all good to continue?
Yeah.
Yes.
Camus is also from Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
That's how you say his
Oh, I
name.
keep
Yeah.
thinking he's from.
You don't
I
say
keep thinking he's
Camus?
from Castlevania.
That is everyone thought it was Camus, and they said it in the mobile game. They said Camus, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay."
Wow.
Oh, there's an author named Camus. He's French.
Yep.
So that's why
Is it spelled that way?
Right, would say. It is
Alright.
spelled that way. Yeah.
Huh.
Ready to continue?
Yes.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it to
Landy
Landy.
Oh, we gotta go
I'm gonna give
risk it
I'm
all,
gonna give it to
man. I couldn't
Landy.
even say his name, but now that I see Nathan, it's like, oh, he actually is from Castlevania.
So who do we got? Landy, you said yes. Who you saying yes to?
Yeah. Well, I thought it was Nathan Graves, but I don't think it is. But go ahead and give me my penalty box.
Castlevania series.
What happens here? Do we
Let me
move
say
on?
yes.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Okay.
You take it, Bird Dog.
What we got?
Tsubasa Oribe?
I don't even know where that's at, so I'm gonna say no.
The
The
bottom.
second one.
There it is. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna give it to you because it's Tokyo Mirage
F.E.
Sessions. It's Tokyo Mirage
That's
Sessions.
hilarious.
I never played that game.
But that you know the
That's
game.
funny.
That's
I'm gonna
not
give
one
him
of
a
the
point.
numbered
I'm gonna give him a
Gi-
point
give
for
him a
that.
point.
I'll give you a point for that.
All right,
I
well,
never
since
played-
we're-
Oh my gosh.
So that's like I don't even know what that game is. It's like
That's
weirdly adjacent in the multiverse related to
Yeah.
Fire Emblem. I've never played
Yeah.
it.
Everyone wants a multiverse nowadays.
Yeah, I'll give that one to you because I didn't. That's hilarious. And good
Good.
pronunciation as
Oh
well.
wow.
What about? Okay, actually, are you going to tell us like after we're done with the screen, like if there's any other ones that are you going to keep doing that? Because
When we progress, I'll let you know if you missed anything.
Okay, so yeah, never mind. Go ahead.
Continue.
Yeah.
So Lind is from
Okay, I was going to ask. Yeah.
1, 3, 11, 12, all the same.
That
things
was going to
we
be my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
had. All right.
Is from like
Yes.
Who is it?
Severa.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay, guess the number.
15.
No.
Okay.
And we're
She
gonna
looks like
steal?
one of the later game
Yes,
ones.
actually.
I feel like
And
I've
we're
seen
gonna
her
steal?
before. What'd you say, Zach?
And we're gonna steal.
Oh,
Yeah.
Someone go ahead.
And
Am
also
I in the penalty box?
Are you?
So I can't
guess
steal?
I guess you are in the penalty box. Yeah. And let me
Yeah,
make
so Bird Dog.
a quick note. If you can guess the name of the game, I'll take that as the same as the number.
Let me just
That's
say
fair.
7.
It's not 7.
Wonderful.
Fire Emblem 13, Fire Emblem Awakening,
Hey!
and
Oh, see? I knew it. She looks like a character I've seen before.
and a cameo in Fire Emblem 14.
Wow.
So, pretty sad there. You almost got it. Y'all ready to continue?
Oh, yeah.
hmm
So Nintendo is actually... I'm just kidding. All right.
Now, you know Doug Trio.
I'm gonna say yes.
Who we got?
I'm gonna say Mist.
Missed?
Ooh. Oh, there you go. There you go.
And
We got that look.
I'm gonna say Super Famicom.
No.
Can I get one, please?
You already got a point. You already got a point.
All right, so I
I'm the only
actually...
one with a goose egg on the board. Oh, now he doesn't have to guess the number though. Bird Dog has a point. Brendan.
No, I
but
want him to
it-
get the 2. I wanted to get the 2.
You want him to catch up to me.
Oh.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Go ahead, Landy, if you want to take a steal.
Game Boy Advance.
Nope.
Okay, so I get to guess a number, huh?
Guess a number.
All right. What's her name? Mist.
He looks like Misty.
Well, okay, so that was Generation 1 Pokemon. Okay, so I'm going to say Fire Emblem 1.
No. GameCube, Wii, Fire Emblem 9 and 10.
Wow. I was, I thought 10 first, but
Should
then I
have
wanted
stayed
to
on
fuck
GameCube.
joke.
I should have stayed on GameCube. Dang
Are
it.
you saying Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn are 9 and 10?
Yes.
That's freaking nuts. That's a lot of games.
Are y'all ready to continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sigurd, Fire Emblem 4 on the SNES.
I thought him too, yeah.
I thought
You,
about it.
you can
yeah.
kind of get the art style we're going for.
Oh,
here.
for sure, yeah, you can see it.
Oh, well, okay, I'm not
Okay,
excluding
this
this.
doesn't count.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times we're going to start, Oh, yes.
So I
Sorry,
see
I was-
you saw Mr. Sandman.
Yes, I did. I saw Discun.
This guy, yeah.
Alencia. Okay.
Need a number.
I'd like to buy a
6.
Val.
6 is your guess?
6 is my guess.
Wrong.
Damn. Anyone else?
So who steals?
I guess whichever of y'all wants to answer first.
You can go, Andy.
Okay. Man, there's a lot of like green-haired Fire Emblem characters that all like are they all ride the dragons and stuff in the Pegasus. So I'm thinking it's probably SNES.
So you're wrong, but I'm gonna give you a half a point because you got
Half
the
a
you
point?
got the Pegasus part right. She does ride a Pegasus.
That's
So
pretty good, man.
I'm gonna give that to you in case of a tiebreaker down the line.
Okay.
And I
Fair
get
enough.
to steal now?
You get to steal Bird Dog.
3.
Nope. 9 and 10, Path of Radiance.
Alright, that's all the time we have for this
All
episode.
right, folks.
Man, y'all just gotta go for those GameCube and Wii, man. All right.
Yeah.
Next shuffle.
Well, 'cause you can't tell because they all have the same art style the way the characters are drawn. So,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Monkey Kong.
Monkey Kong. It's actually Wiggler. Wiggler originated in Fire Emblem
Wiggler.
2 and then came to the Mario universe.
Dice block. Yes.
Okay, who?
La Arachel.
La
I pronounced it
Rochelle.
correct.
La
All right.
Rochelle.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. We're gonna go 11.
No.
Dang it. I only know so many numbers, Zach.
Yep.
I went first last time. You gotta go first this time.
I'm saying 3.
No. Y'all can guess the consoles, remember?
Okay,
Like,
you guys can guess the I'm the only one who can't until you guys catch up.
No,
to me.
I'm just trying to get some points out here.
He's trying to get some
that's
points,
fair.
trying to
That's
catch
fair,
up.
man.
Gosh. GameCube.
Fire Emblem 8, Sacred Stones, and the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, you're
Oh
playing that
my
one.
gosh.
You're playing one right now, right?
I just finished it, actually.
Nice.
Ready to continue?
Yep.
Garnif, Fire Emblem
Oh,
1.
he has a little bit different art style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Brendan said it
What?
first.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Lag.
Oh, I was gonna say Kata. I
It
promise.
was the
Like,
only. It was the only one
Yeah,
that was.
I wasn't gonna say Zipper T Bunny. So,
Yeah.
Kata. Let's see. Still guessing numbers. I'm gonna say 9.
No.
Dang it!
Let's hear a console, Landy.
Okay, 9 was not it. How about? I'm gonna mess it up again, but I'm gonna go for it. Game Boy Advance.
Wrong.
Dang.
Yes.
Ah, no.
All right, Bird Dog, let's get some points.
Bird Dog said DS.
Ooh,
DS
rubber
is correct.
nice.
Kata
Oh,
is
nice.
from 1,
That's 2
3,
points.
11, and 12.
Now I don't have to guess numbers anymore.
Yeah. The DS remakes of the first games. So
Oh,
is on
nice.
so is it 220?
2.5.
2.5.
Oh yeah, 2.5. I apologize. 2.5. Okay, ready?
2.5. Eggplant
Yes.
Man, right. Yes. Not the one we've already seen. I wasn't gonna guess. I was gonna guess Jenna, actually.
I'm gonna say no.
I'm pretty sure it's Golden Sun.
Ah, fair enough. I'm in the penalty box.
Penalty box.
The several we had already seen.
Aghanim kind of looks like a Fire Emblem art style.
He's got that Zelda logo on
Yeah.
his chest.
Yeah.
Well, he does. Yeah, the Zelda logo on his chest. He looks like one. All right, ready?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Who we got?
Oh no. Alright.
I know what you.
I know what you
I'm gonna say Gangrel.
Oh, Gangrel is right.
Okay.
Gangrel's right.
Nice.
Alright.
I thought you were gonna say. You know you wanted to say
Nice.
Mithra.
I thought you were gonna say
You
Mithril
did.
You know
also.
you wanted to say.
That one was iffy. I didn't think it was, but nice job.
All right, what we got, Bird Dog? You could go for the win with the number, or you could go for a console and get some points on the board.
I think I would be going for the win regardless. Or are we playing to a certain score?
You're playing a 5. Playing 5.
5, yeah.
Oh.
But if you get the number, it gets you 3 points, and you have 2.
Yeah.
I'll say 11.
No.
Hmm.
I'm in the penalty
He
box.
looks
So.
familiar, which makes me think he's from one of the more recent games. So I'm gonna say he was on the Wii.
No.
Dang it!
Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS.
Ah,
Dang.
not recent enough. Dang it.
Sad stuff. Okay, so Lumber, you're out of the penalty box. Let's
Very good.
continue onward.
Oh, I know Goron's in Fire Emblem.
Yes. Sophia.
Sophia's from Persona,
Oh.
and you're gonna watch me beat this real quick.
Interesting.
This is one of the 3 fighters in the game I need, so I'm gonna have to really apologize. I'm gonna have to really apologize here and just beat this thing real quick.
That is hilarious. I'm sure you've been waiting.
I
for that.
almost
Oh
shit
my
myself when
gosh.
this showed up because I've been refreshing for days.
Oh
It's
my gosh,
hilarious,
that's
man.
hilarious.
So let me get this mess out of
You'll
here.
have to like cut this out, but then put a lot of it in the
Yeah, I'll put it in the end. The
bonus game.
the bonus game.
I just want to see you
hilarious.
lose, because that'd be funny.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Would that make sense? Why it's one that you wouldn't have though? Because they didn't add the Persona spirits
Yeah,
until
this
Joker
one was
came
a
out, right?
special one. You had to have a copy of Persona 5 Strikers at first, and then they added it in a later update. All right.
There you go.
All right. Y'all act like this is going to be a close one. Should I just use this? I'm just going to use these. I'm not playing.
Yeah, dude, you have plenty.
I'm
Oh
not
my gosh,
playing
you have so
games
many
here.
to use.
I'm not playing games here. Okay. All right. Thank you for that little intermission. Needed that one.
So,
All right. On with our game. Oh, you have 9 options now.
it just made it interesting.
Interesting.
In the penalty box.
All right. Are you in the penalty box? Oh, because
Just-
you
I
guessed.
just
Cause you
No,
guessed
she's
it.
from
I
Persona.
forgot. Yeah. Persona's
Yeah.
basically Fire Emblem. Okay.
Yes. Oh no, we've already.
We already
Okay.
gone through Raven yet.
Yeah, Raven. We've already gone through him.
Lark is looking rough.
Yes.
Who we got?
Oh.
Mario Renard.
That's Castlevania.
Dang it! They never have 2 names. What am I doing?
So I'm gonna take
One
a
name.
Bird Dog comes out of the penalty box since
And I sadly
not enough
don't
room, not enough room for 2 people in there.
Right. It's a 1-seater.
Oh, okay, nice.
1-seater. All right. Already mentioned
Dungeon
the one.
Man.
Dungeon Man.
Beaumont.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna suggest that maybe when we don't, even if we have some left over on the board. I mean, unless you think there's enough characters for us to keep going, we're gonna see a lot of repeats. I would imagine.
There are plenty of characters, but we will start seeing repeats. That's up. We can
So maybe-
we can go like another couple rounds. If we don't see another one, we can start doing repeats.
Yeah. Well, no. I was just saying, going forward, don't tell us if there's one that we missed, and especially don't tell us what.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're
yeah.
saying. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Just keep cycling it through.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a good idea.
Let me get Shaft, I guess.
Shaft.
Castlevania
no.
really be boning y'all here.
But look at that teasing though.
you.
It's a Fire Emblem character
does,
in Smash that it's like representing him.
It does look like
Yeah.
All right, Brennan, you're out.
I almost said it too.
it. All right, so is it I guess Bird Dog's in the penalty box?
Yes.
Right.
He's in
Yeah.
timeout.
You get a lot of the similar things here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
Who gets it?
I heard Brendan first.
Okay.
Beyonce.
Let's go Zale. Zale.
Incorrect.
Dang, okay.
Oh
Man.
man, I would have said
Then you
that
can
too.
steal, right? Or I guess.
If that Navarre person is actually from Castlevania, I mean from Fire Emblem.
See, that one, I was stuck between that one and Zale.
Are we
Well,
going for
technically,
it?
I'm out now.
Are we
Yeah,
going?
you're
That's
out of the
true.
box.
Are we going for the Andy? You said you're gonna go. Are you gonna take your odds on
If
the
I
VAR?
go for it and it's wrong, I'm gonna take a box from Brendan, or what?
Yeah, you'll take the
We'll
box.
squeeze it there.
You'll actually, if you
All
both
right.
get out in the same round, I'll put y'all both in the box for a round.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, then give it a shot. Why not? Maybe they are from Fire Emblem.
Correct.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, lucky. Okay, let's do some analysis here. Looks like your run-of-the-mill, dark hair, brooding type. He's got 2 fingers on the
I'm
sword.
gonna give you another half point. I'm
let's
gonna give you another half point for the dark hair brooding type.
How about? Oh, I'm gonna get it wrong. I think it's an older one though, so I think I'm gonna get it wrong, but give it a shot. Go for SNES.
He is in Fire Emblem 3 on the SNES.
Nice.
So
So that's 1.5?
let's give 1.5. Yeah. So is it 2-2
Catching
1.5 or is it 3-2 1.5?
Yes.
It's 2-2 1.5. Yeah.
Oh man, y'all are disappointing me.
Well,
I'm
we are
scared.
not Fire Emblem.
Alright.
players
Continue to
here.
Speak for
shuffle.
yourself, Brennan.
What's that?
I said speak for yourself, man.
Well, All right, so it's just Bird Dog now. While we're
Lilina, yes.
no, I'm
it's
not
me.
in
It's
the-
just me. You're right. Sorry. It's just
Wow,
me.
you threw him
crap.
off.
Oh, yes.
I
Who said it?
heard Bird Dog say Lilina though, so
Yeah, he was right. I was gonna say it too.
I'm still in, right?
yeah, I heard
Yeah.
you say
Yeah.
Oh. Alright, we're just
we
gonna
get
have
the-
to say... They all look like they should be on like a 16-bit platform.
I
They all
know,
look
right?
old. Alright, I'll say 3, man.
You would think that, but no.
There's
All
one you
right.
can steal.
Okay, steel. It's so tough because I know I'm gonna say it wrong. All right. How about Game Boy Advance?
You are correct. Fire
Nice.
Emblem
That's
6 on the Game Boy
2.5.
Advance. So 2.522. Oh, and you got your 10,000
Steel,
back. There we go. New leader with Andy Landy.
Right.
Let's
I
continue.
am out.
You're out of the box. Yep.
Yeah,
Free.
everyone's free.
Yes.
Oh yes.
I don't even know who went first there. I heard
Yes.
all three at the same time.
Bird Dog, take it.
Alright, Tricky? No, Soren, please.
Chessman. Woo!
Fire
Guess
Emblem
the
3.
game. He's gonna keep going.
Not Fire Emblem 3.
All right. I'll guess. 5.
No.
Man, you're not going for it all,
elimination,
huh?
Yeah.
Well, trying to get this done. 9.
We have a winner. Fire Emblem
my
9.
goodness.
What a
Um,
comeback.
Radiant or
What a
Path of
comeback from
Radiance.
0.5.
That man, Andy Landy with the win. 5.5 points, overachieving, getting more points than necessary. I thought that was that turned out okay. That was pretty fun, I guess.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
that's cool.
And it only took y'all, let's see, 36 shuffles.
You hit 7.
Wait,
yeah.
not all of them had Fire Emblem characters, okay?
That's fair. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, there's actually a lot of these spirits were in 9 and 10. So,
Yeah.
well, cool. I think that about does it for our time here today, fellas. I appreciate y'all sticking with me through this this last bit after our conversation. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks to Bird Dog for stopping by, helping out the common folk. Go
Friend
check
of the
him
show.
out. Friend of the show.
Friend of the
Thanks
show.
for having
I'll
me.
throw those links in the description. All that good stuff. Anyone have any last words?
Landy cheated.
Landy cheated. Landy cheated is correct.
If I got on this podcast and there was no game, you would have never heard from me again. I just want
Wow.
to play games so bad.
Wow. That's pretty. That's a lot. But I'll take that into consideration for a year from now when we do this again. All right. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time. What are we gonna call it? Dailey-Lumber
That's
Meyer-Dog?
post production. We'll worry about that post.
Well, I gotta say it in the beginning.
Oh, you
You gotta say it.
Oh,
You gotta say it. Yeah.
Dailey-Lumber
Oh my God.
Meyer-Dog podcast.
Dailey-Lumber Meyer.
Dailey-LumBird.
Welcome to. Let's do this. Welcome to
Dailey-LumBird
that, and then
Meyer-Dog.
just.
Dailey-LumBird Meyer-Dog
Yes.
beating.
Well, and I think it makes it that much more charming if you struggle to say that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Are y'all good?
Yeah.
All right. Ahoy and welcome. Oh, God damn it, Christian.
He waited for you to do that. That was not on you, Chris.
That was
He
intentional.
waited for you.
That was intentional. All right. Okay.